Hello, everybody. It's Gisela Hausmann back with her latest video blog. How it appears that at times mainstream media is even helping Amazon. Now, if you think back to the days of the pandemic, surely you remember which two topics dominated all reporting about Amazon. The billions and billions of dollars in profit the company raked in during those days, and the people problem of the drivers. Allow me to refresh your memory by reading you three headlines about the billions and billions. Amazon's profit soars 220% as pandemic drives shopping online. Jeff Bezos' net worth jumps $23.6 billion in early 2020 as coronavirus bites. Amazon says sellers racked up more than $4.8 billion in sales on weekend. Now let's contrast this with three headlines about the people problem. Amazon delivery drivers had to forgo bathroom breaks. Amazon admits that it was wrong to suggest that their drivers never pee into bottles. Shiwis and plastic bags, Amazon's pee scandal is much worse for women. Now, if we compare the two pictures these two top groups of topics draw, we can only come to one conclusion. The gap is getting wider. The 1% on top soar to even greater heights. They've not taken off from Mars. We're not even talking about millions anymore. Now, the smallest unit we're talking about is a billion with a B. And on the other end of the spectrum, the people drop even lower. They're losing their dignity. Now, it seems to me that if one is a reporter who writes about these topics on a regular basis, who reads what their colleagues write about Amazon, and competing journalists, any compassionate journalist would have to ask themselves, what can be done about this problem? This is terrible. And of course, in the United States, we have a solution for this problem. It's called porta potty. And it seems to me that every labor reporter ought to know that. But even beyond that, in this specific case, even every Amazon business reporter should have known that. Because, as it so happens, the city of Seattle, which is home to Amazon and dozens of Amazon business reporters who live close to the company they write about, excelled in the early days of the pandemic and set up dozens and dozens of porta potties to accommodate the homeless population. Hence, every Amazon reporter would have seen on their local news that their local reporters praised the city of Seattle for taking this massive effort. And every Amazon reporter who actually had compassion for those poor drivers might have thought about, right, that's the solution. And could have then written an article titled, How come that Amazon, the company who rakes in billions of dollars in profit, cannot set up lockable porta potties for their drivers? But it didn't happen. I was waiting for this to happen. So I thought about why not? Then I thought to myself, well, maybe the business reporters and the labor reporters can't really make news by themselves by coming up with a new topic. But people who really want to help always find a solution. Hence, if it would have been me in the next staff meeting, I would have said, hello, dear editor-in-chief. Can't we have our opinion writer write a piece? How come that Amazon can't, the company who rakes in billions of dollars, can't set up porta potties? Opinion writers can opine about everything, including about Amazon and porta potties and drivers. But it didn't happen. And because I was looking so hard, trying to find out who the first publication would be who would write something like that, I found one. It was GeekWire. GeekWire is a specialty publication which caters to geeks. They write about Microsoft, Google, Meta, Twitter, Amazon, computer programs, apps, robots, that kind of thing. How come they wrote about the porta potties? They had an article about two app producers, one of them in Seattle, Washington, the other one in Washington, D.C., who wrote an app which drivers could download to find the next public porta potty. And that was it. Nobody else wrote about the problem. There's a very important lesson packaged in this thing. Specialty publications who are not owned by corporate conglomerates write about the things we want to know about. They also do not discriminate against any sources. They listen to sources because the sources help them find the things their audiences might want to know about. And why mainstream media never addressed this issue, I will never understand. Was it because the owners of the corporate conglomerates didn't want an article like that because they wanted to help Amazon to save the expense for the porta potties, however small that may have been in comparison to their earnings? Or was it that maybe labor reporters didn't care that much about the essential workers who helped save America? They just wrote their article and didn't give it another thought, maybe. Or was it that both the conglomerate, mainstream media, and the reporters want to dictate the conversation, what it's like to be an Amazon driver or an Amazon worker? Or maybe it was that this was just a story that kept on giving. As long as no solution was to be found to the pee bottle problem, you could write about the topic every 5 to 6 weeks. In fact, even today, 3 years later, there are still stories about the pee bottle problem. Only now, these articles tell of the drivers who sued Amazon because of this situation. I have no idea what the real reason was. What do you think about it? I'm so looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. My next video blog will be about Jeff Bezos' flywheel theory and how it affects you and your community, or how it may affect you and your community. I'll see you then. So long.